Okay, folks, I'm going to do a series of short videos and walk you through a sample application using Angular 4. And the application I'm choosing is our Clue application. You've seen this before where we have a set of cards, a login screen, a way to make a guess via different options, and by default a disabled guest button. So we're going to build this in a component-based fashion using Angular 4. And notice up here I have my console up because we're going to use some of this markup directly. I'm already, just to accelerate things, I'm already running. This is my web store and browser. I'm already running an app in the browser on this tab. It says Hello World because my app component has as the title Hello World. All right, I have my HTML file which has the title part. So this is the kind of thing we've seen when we've created a starting point for Angular 4 using the command line interface. So what I need to do first, well, I guess the first thing I'll do is let's make sure we're up and running and all is well. So I'm going to go back here and change this to something a little bit more Clue oriented. So for example, welcome to Clue. If I save that in my background window, it's going to go through and do all the compilation stuff. I go to my browser page and I see that it's dynamically changed it because I'm running my ngserve already over my console window. For completeness sake, again, a kind of a reminder of where we are, having created this root level component, the app, if you will. It's the only one I have as I started out. I have my module file. The module file was pre-populated for me when I did the create. It includes common stuff that we typically see in Angular application. Again, if we're not using some of this stuff, I could actually remove it right now, but going forward, we are going to use this stuff. Browser module, the NG module, NG for Angular, the forms module, the HP module, which we're going to use because we're going to go through and build something completely with forms and eventually with Ajax calls in it. And then I created my app component, so I'm importing the app component from my app component. Notice there's no .ts here, but effectively that's telling the module declaration to include the TypeScript file for the app. So I'm importing component from Angular core because this is a component. The component decorator, as it's called in Angular, has its selector in there. That selector indicates what tag we're going to use. The template URL indicates the reference to the file, in this case the same directory, app component file. That's where we had the title with the templating syntax we'll get back to in a minute. And then back here, the style URLs, the app component CSS, which right now is blank. We could do something like this, H1 color blue, and if I save that, since I have an H1 tag over there, I'll come back here, and it's already styled it to color of blue. Again, we won't do much in the way of CSS in here, but just to show how that is also dynamically compiled in as part of the component. As we mentioned before, there is a spec file. We aren't going to use a spec file, excuse me, in this class, but there is a testing specification file that is generated that can be used for some advanced production-ready development when you look at how to do your testing and so forth. But we're going to stick at this level. All right, we have a class. Notice it says export class app component. So in TypeScript, we're creating a class. We export, and title is a property. So our first little bit of templating here with the double curly braces and the word title actually scopes that to use the title property back here in the TypeScript. Okay, so that's a nice feature already. I can create properties on here. You know, what else might I want to put on here? A title, I might create a header property and say the header equals I really like Clue, right? And I could keep that part. I can save it. Now notice when I save it, nothing else changed because I haven't put it in the template yet, but I can go back here and under the H1 tag, I can go create an H2 tag and say header, right? Now when I save it and I go back here, I really like Clue shows up. I could also style that if I so choose. I could go here and say, let's just cut and paste. Let's make, if that's blue, let's make that red. Let's make it dark red. Looks a little more Sun Devil-like. Save that, and oop, I changed the wrong one, so I can fix that. Save it, and now I have blue and red. Okay, so again, the relationship between these files are module declaration that we will use more later. The component declaration, where we'll spend some time on initially, our HTML declaration that has the actual markup, and again, the component styling, if we choose to use it, not tremendously important for us. Okay, so that's a reference. I'm actually going to take out the header part. We actually don't need this markup. We don't need this property. I'll leave in the title part and say welcome to Clue, even though our Clue app didn't have that over there in our, so we're recompiled even though it didn't have it over here. All right, so next we'll go and start trying to build the markup for these pieces in here.